Well, Super Bowl sports nuts, the Big D is ready to test his trivia as Alex, my guess, gives me the hardest Super Bowl trivia questions he can. Before I bring in Alex, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Striking Sports YouTube page. See all my content. See all my Super Bowl picks. By the way, I'm all in on the Chiefs this Sunday in New Orleans. So I may not be rooting for the Chiefs, but I'm thinking the Chiefs are going to be in beignets. Also, check out the Big D podcast, Spotify and Apple. So joining us, the only guy who believes he can eat more beignets than me. Out.
Thank you, Dylan. It's a pleasure to be back as always, and it's a very exciting week of the Super Bowl. It's definitely bittersweet. Can't wait for the Super Bowl. It's always a great time, but it definitely means that that is the end of the NFL season, leading into the longest off season in sports. So definitely bittersweet. I'm really excited for the game, but it's gonna be sad not having football on Sundays anymore after this.
Oh, come on. You've got the UFL coming up shortly.
That's true. They've done a really good job at sprinkling in some football in between, or during the off season. So we'll definitely have some stuff to keep us occupied. The NBA has just flipped on its head, so definitely some good games to be watching there. We'll make the best out of it.
Yeah, all we need is Miles Garrett traded to the Green Bay Packers, right?
Yeah, I mean something like that. I'm sure something will be happening soon. Cooper Cup maybe. Who knows where he's going?
So, Alex, you and I have known each other for a long time, and what is something you know about me?
I know that when it comes to sports trivia and sports information in general, you are a tough nut to crack, Dylan. It is an uphill battle going up against you in any sort of trivia challenges or anything. I remember when we pretty much first met when we were working with the FGCU ESPN Plus programs over there at FGCU. I remember just asking, like, and we were waiting for a game before the production started, and I just pulled up some random trivia questions on my phone. It was any sport. I could do some soccer questions, some golf questions, stuff that I would never think that you would have the answer to. And you shocked the room, I remember, just by nailing every single question I asked you.
Yeah, and you remember the show Stump the Schwab?
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, rest in peace, Howie Schwab. We miss you, but Alex is going to try and stump the Big D today. So, Alex, how you going to do that?
I'm gonna try my hardest. I have a potentially a trick question thrown in there. I've got some pretty obscure statistic questions in there, and a couple little tough nuggets that I'm sure there's some that'll come off really easy. I think this first one might be a little bit of a softball, a little bit of a trick question too, but I probably shouldn't have told you that. But
Okay,
we
okay.
uh,
So why are we wasting time? Let's get to the questions.
Let's do it. All right. So kicking this off, no pun intended. I want to know, Dylan, which city has hosted the most Super Bowls?
New Orleans.
Technically, no.
Oh, Miami.
It is technically Miami. New Orleans will be hosting their 11th Super Bowl this upcoming Sunday, but it hasn't happened yet. Miami sits at 11, so technically Miami has the lead by one game, but in a couple days it'll be all tied up with Miami and New Orleans both sitting at 11 Super Bowls that they have hosted. Let's see. Bonus points if you can name the most recent Super Bowl in New Orleans, and I want to know the Super Bowl number, the teams that played, and if you know the score, that'd be even better.
Super Bowl 47, that would be the Hall Bowl between the Ravens and 49ers. Yeah, good thing Beyonce's not doing the halftime show.
Yeah, exactly. All right, like I
Uh,
said, yeah,
wait,
I mean, you can keep going if you want.
what's the score? 31-27 or was it 28-24? Trying to remember.
You want me to tell you, or you want to think it out?
Go ahead and tell me.
It was Baltimore 34, San Francisco
Oh, 30.
31. Oh, oh wow. Sorry, breaking NBA news. Sorry, completely off topic. The Suns just traded Yusuf Nurkic to the Charlotte Hornets for Cody Martin, Mitchich, and a second-round pick. Heard it here first. But all right, let's move forward to question number 2. This is
And
an
by the
interesting.
way, Joe Flacco was MVP of that game.
There you go. Perfect. That was the Harbaugh Bowl. Harbaugh Bowl, definitely pretty memorable on that one. But let's move forward to question number 2. In honor of a certain quarterback of my favorite team, this question stood out to me. But who was the first left-handed quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and what team did he play for?
Kenny Stabler and the Oakland Raiders.
You nailed it. Very good job. I don't even. Do you know what Super Bowl that was? I don't. So
Super Bowl 11 against the Vikings.
sounds about right. All right. Moving on to the next question. You better not be Googling any answers over there. I see you typing away. All right. Next question. Which player holds the record for most receptions in a single Super Bowl game?
James White.
Incorrect. Unless I'm outdated, but I don't think so. Let me fact check myself really quick. It wasn't too old. Definitely a known name within, I would say, the last 15, 20 years. Oh, it is James White. You're right. I had.
James White caught like 13 and 14 passes in that comeback against the Falcons.
Yep, you're right. I had to fact check myself. The guy I had in mind was second. You're right. James White had 14 receptions against the Falcons in 2017. Can you name who has the second most receptions in Super Bowl history? Because that's the guy I had in mind. That's a tough question. Second most receptions in Super Bowl history. Screw the first most.
Cooper Kupp.
Nope. The Super Bowl. Let me see if I can give you a hint. Very famous quarterback was throwing these passes.
Jerry Rice.
No, more recent than that. Within the last, within the last 20 years, just to give you a wider range. They were playing against a very notable defense in that game. Jerry Rice does own the record for most receptions in the Super Bowl career, but you're looking for number 2. Very famous quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. And I say one of because it's not the main guy you might be thinking of, against a very strong defense post 2010.
Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas had 13 receptions against the Seattle Seahawks in 2014. Very well done.
Rip.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And the score of that game was like 1,000,000-8.
Yeah. All right.
And then Manning snapped the ball 10 feet over Peyton Manning's head. I'm like, the Broncos are done.
Yeah. All right. This should be a little bit more of a softball here for you, but what was the score and who were the teams playing in the lowest scoring Super Bowl in NFL history?
Patriots beat the Rams 13-3 in Super Bowl 53.
Nailed it. Like I said, a little bit of a softball there. Let's move on. This is an interesting one. I think you might. I don't know if you would have nailed this one. We're going a little bit farther back, not as recent for this one. Just as a hint, but which quarterback has the highest completion percentage in a single Super Bowl game? This is a good question. I like this one.
Phil Simms.
Nailed it. Wow.
Super Bowl 21. I think Phil was 22 or 25.
I know. Yep. Jeez, that is incredible. He's 22-25, 88% passing completion. And what was the score in the game? Who'd they beat?
39. Giants beat the Broncos 39-21.
So close. 39
39-20.
to 20. Yeah. That's unbelievable. I can't believe you pulled that. That's crazy. I thought you were gonna have to think a little bit longer on that one. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let me hold on 1 second. All right, this is a deep poll as well. Who holds the record for most rushing yards in a single Super Bowl game?
Timmy Smith, Washington Redskins against the Broncos, Super Bowl 22.
Yeah, how many yards he had?
212.
Close, kind of. Not 212. A little less than that.
210.
204.
And Timmy Smith wasn't even supposed to be starting that game.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking these are tough, and you're pulling these right out. I might have had to pull a couple different, couple tougher ones. Let's see, what do I got next? This is a fun one. I'm sure you'll get this one right, but this is a deeper. I mean, we're going way back on this one, but who scored the only touchdown for the Miami Dolphins in their perfect 1972 season Super Bowl victory?
Wait a minute. Miami scored 2. It was 14-7.
Maybe offensive touchdown, because I think we scored a special teams touchdown that game, didn't we?
Paul Warfield.
Nope.
Zonk.
Nope. I'm fact checking again. This trivia that I was getting.
Alex, come on. Quit fact checking yourself.
I might hold on. Let me double check here.
I know the only touchdown Miami gave up in that Super Bowl, maybe Gary Premier gave up in that Super Bowl.
I was looking at the wrong game. Hold on. You're right. We did score 2 touchdowns in that game. Yeah, it was 14-3. 14-7, I mean. Because it should have been 17. It should have been 17-0 if they didn't block that kick. All right. So who scored the only rushing touchdown in that game?
Zonk.
No.
Mercury Morse.
No. Come on, pull out your deep Dolphins running back bag.
Not Bob Greasy, right?
No. Not Zonk, not Muirk. All good guesses.
Who's the other guy?
It's pretty well known. At least as a Dolphins fan, he is. His last name reminds me of a different position on the field.
What?
You know this. Come on.
No, I don't.
Jim Kick?
No, I would not have gotten Jim Kick.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's all right. All right. Where are we going next? So I got you on one. Jim Kick. Shout out Jim Kick. Dolphins legend. Scored 1 of 2 touchdowns in that Super Bowl. This is an easy one. I don't even know why I gave this to you. Which player has the most career rushing touchdowns in Super Bowl history?
How far back do I have to go?
Pre 2010 for sure. I believe pre 2000.
Would Franco
This is
Harris
career.
be
This is career rushing touchdowns. It's
would
not just
Franco
one.
Harris be too fullback?
That would be too far back. Correct.
Okay.
Let me see if I
Terrell Davis.
nope.
Oh,
This
okay.
player retired.
Emmitt Smith.
There it is. Yeah, nailed it. He's got
Okay.
5 career Super Bowl rushing touchdowns. So yeah, he retired in 2004, so pre 2000 for the most part. All right. Let's go with. Oh, I like this question too. All right. Which player has the most most interceptions in one game in Super Bowl history?
Oh
Another
gosh.
deeper cut, a little farther back.
Hmm. Larry Brown, but that would be too easy, right?
That's not it.
Huh?
That's not it.
It's got to be older than that, right?
It's definitely old. It is. My Roman numerals are failing me. It is pre 2000 by a good while. Pre 1990, but not too far pre 1990. It's post 75, pre 90.
Okay, so
They're playing against. I don't know if I want to give you this. It might be too much help.
tell me where the game was.
It's a good one. 1 second. That game. Please hold.
Can you guys believe that the Super Bowl?
Um,
I've got a
it,
couple
it
guesses.
was, believe it or not, it was in New Orleans.
Oh gosh. Okay, well that. Um, Ronnie Lott.
No, not Ronnie Lott. I thought you almost had it for a second. It
Oh,
sounded
right,
right.
right.
No. Your first, when you started saying the first name, I thought you might have been going there.
If it's the cornerback on the Cowboy defense, I'm going to be mad at myself.
It was a linebacker, believe it or not.
Wow.
I believe.
Not Ron Rivera, right?
No.
No.
Playing against the Eagles.
Oh gosh. Is it
Nin-
the guy? Is it the guy with the Italian-sounding name?
No, I know this guy. I've heard of this guy.
Who?
For the Oakland Raiders
Is it?
in 1981, beating the Eagles 27-10. Rod Smith had 3 interceptions in that football game. I'm sorry, not Rod Smith. Rod Martin. I'm sorry, Rod Martin for the Oakland Raiders had 3 interceptions against the Philadelphia Eagles as they won 27-10 in 1981. All right.
It's
Well,
Ron Jaworski, no less.
yeah, right. There you go. And then this is the last one I have for you. I think this is a fun one. I think I might stump you on this one too. I want to know, Dylan, what was the longest? I need to know the quarterback, the receiver, at least. Ideally, tell me some information about the game. but the longest completed pass in Super Bowl history. I definitely need to know the quarterback and the receiver. If you got more information, that's even better. Longest passing completion in Super Bowl history. This is a good question. I like this one a lot.
Is this Jake Delhomme, the Moose and Muhammad in the Super Bowl 38?
It sure is. Do you know how long it was?
85 yards to the house.
85-yard touchdown from Jake Delhomme to Musha Muhammad. I can't believe you got that. That was a good one. And that's about all I got for you, Dylan.
You actually stumped me more than I thought you would.
I told you I had to pull out some deep cuts. You're a tough cookie over there. You got anything off the top of your head you want to try to see if I can pull up?
Yeah, I've got one. I've got one for you.
I don't know. I don't have the most faith in myself, but we'll see.
Come on, you've got more faith in yourself than I have in myself. Oh, let me think. 6, 7. What player became the first running back / fullback to win Super Bowl MVP?
First running back / fullback to win Super Bowl MVP. Was it Zonka didn't win MVP, did he?
Super Bowl 8.
8. Okay. I was thinking Terrell Davis, but that is definitely not Super Bowl 8.
I think Franco Harris even won it the next year, Super Bowl 9.
So Super Bowl 8, that was. Can I get a? What year was that?
I'll give you a hint. You met Zonka.
I did meet Zonka. I guess Zonka. It's not Zonka, is it?
Yes, it's Zonka.
I guess Zonka. Look at that. Great guy. Very nice. Very friendly. He's very honest about our Dolphins too. He watches every game and he tweets after every game about how disappointed he is in us and how Don Shula would have never let this happen. And he's right.
Rest in peace to one of the greats.
Absolutely.
I actually remember him hosting the American Gladiators back in the day.
Boy, I don't remember that, but that's something I might have to look up on YouTube or something. That sounds awesome.
You should. I mean, they beat the poop out of each other. Look up episode 1 of the American Gladiators when a 220-pound dude goes into Nitro and knocks him out cold.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna have some film to watch. It sounds like.
Yeah, you might have more film to watch than just figuring out how many. By the way, just thinking. This isn't a trivia question, but how many teams in NFL actually? If Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs win on Sunday, does this mean that Andy Reid maybe unseats Belichick as the greatest coach ever?
It's funny you say that. I was just talking about this yesterday at work. It's hard not to. I mean, the biggest point that I had yesterday at work when I had this, it's funny. It's so funny you asked me this. I had this exact same conversation at work yesterday. But you look at what Bill Belichick did after Tom Brady left, and you look at what Bill Belichick did before he had Tom Brady. I mean, he was a very unsuccessful coach with the Browns and the Jets. He goes to New England, and obviously they were pretty good with Drew Bledsoe. Tom Brady steps in. The rest is history. After Tom Brady leaves, yes, that roster was depleted. With Gronk leaving, with Brady leaving. Anytime you lose that level of a player in any sport, you're gonna have, some growing pains when it comes to rebuilding from that. But still, I mean, the Patriots have been sorry ever since, Tom Brady left. He couldn't develop Mac Jones. He couldn't get anything, working with anything post Brady. I think Andy Reid has I mean, if he wins this game and he three-peats, obviously, you've got Patrick Mahomes at quarterback and Travis Kelsey and some great players on defense and things like that. It's a team game. But I think Andy Reid is more influential to this Chiefs run than Bill Belichick was to the Patriots run. I think Tom Brady was that good of a quarterback, but I think you really have the true partnership that I think what people thought Bill Belichick and Tom Brady was. I think it's more so in the case of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes working together and really having an identity and really, proving that they are the best team in football. I think when it came to that New England Patriots run, Tom Brady was the best quarterback in football, and I think everyone knew that. But when you look at these Kansas City Chiefs teams, they look like the best teams in football. Like, yes, Patrick Mahomes makes magic happen, but the situations and the creativity that Andy Reid brings to that team, I think he very well is deserved. And if you really put together all the accolades, like yes, Bill Belichick is far and away when it comes to Super Bowl victories. But Patrick Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Andy Reid isn't going anywhere. And I it's tough just because of the number of Super Bowls that Bill Belichick won, but he never had a three-peat. And I think Tom Brady had a lot more to do with those wins than people might have originally thought back in the time. It's a good question. What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, be honest with you, Bill Walsh helped invent the West Coast Dolphins back in the '80s with what he did with Montana. Not saying I mean, Bill Belichick's the greatest defensive coach ever,
Right.
but he also took advantage of maybe offenses and quarterbacks without, the rules helping offense. Plus, seemingly, I mean, you look at the Super Bowls, other than maybe you'd say Kurt Warner and Eli Manning. I mean, it's not like New England played a lot of great quarterbacks. They played Jake Delhomme. They played Donovan McNabb. They played Matt Ryan. They played Nick Foles and Jared Goff. I mean, it's not like New England went up. Now, in the AFC Championship game, the Patriots often played, let's see, the guy in Indianapolis or Denver. That'd be 18. The guy in Pittsburgh, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck. Hey, they also beat Blake Bortles in an AFC Championship game. And we were 3 minutes from Blake Bortles
Nick Foles.
and Nick Foles.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
imagine?
and you guys should have won that game too. That god awful fumble call on the sideline cost you guys that football game. And
Yeah.
not that
And
obviously,
nobody would have watched our game.
yeah, right.
That
I mean,
nobody.
it definitely wouldn't have been the most exciting Super Bowl, but I mean, that's what it's nice to have that sometimes. You don't always want the powerhouses. I mean, I think this is going to be a fantastic game on Sunday, and I think that we got it right in the sense of, realistically, the Super Bowl should be the two best teams, and I think we definitely got the two best teams in the league in the Super Bowl this year. But having a little bit of parity sometimes is fun. I mean, I think everyone forgets about that Bengals Rams Super Bowl, and that was one of the most exciting Super Bowls we've seen, and at least in recent history. And those aren't necessarily, it's not like obviously Joe Burrow, and Stafford were they're great quarterbacks, but it's they're not these deep into their career tenure guys who do all have nothing. It's not all they do is win kind of guys. So it's nice seeing a little bit of parity, and I think yes that Super Bowl probably wouldn't have been the most exciting one, but it's fun seeing teams who aren't always there, and obviously I'm sure the Jaguars fans are looking to get to their first Super Bowl. It would have been at least that storyline and everything like that. And speaking of coaches, I mean, obviously I'm biased here, but we're talking about Andy Reid and Bill Walsh and Bill Belichick, of course. I mean, you got to think Don Shula still holds the record for most NFL victories, and he coached the first 8 years, I think, of his Dolphins tenure with a 14-game season. I mean, it's I think that alone, I mean, is impressive in its own sense. You have the undefeated season. Obviously, he doesn't have
I
a
mean, Don Shula, well, a Don Shula coach seemingly forever.
yeah.
B, there weren't a lot of great teams in that era. I mean, yeah, the AFC was chock full of great teams. You look at Pittsburgh, the Raiders, Miami, well, continuously battling for AFC championship games for 15 years.
I mean, the Bears in the '80s. I mean, you got to think about that '85 season where
Or
obviously
the 84 year where Miami set all kinds of passing records with a certain quarterback wearing number,
13.
yeah.
You might see that on your screen on as my tag on my Twitter tag. Thanks, Dan the man. But you're right. It was a whole different era then. I mean, he did coach for so long, but I mean, you still got to get those victories. I mean, I mean, obviously, I wasn't around to see it back then, but I mean, the Miami Dolphins for at least 2 decades were in the conversation every single year. I mean, that stretch that they had in the '70s. I think they went like 10 seasons beating sweeping the Patriots every year, I think something like that. And obviously the '80s with Marino, we didn't get the Super Bowls, and obviously into the '90s with Marino, we didn't get the Super Bowls, but we were still a contending team throughout the whole stretch. I mean, Don Shula wasn't there for the entire stretch. They forced him out at the end for Jimmy Johnson, but it's tough, like you said. I mean, not having the number of Super Bowls that a lot of these guys I think automatically eliminates him from the conversation. But hey, having the record for most wins is definitely a resume booster, I'd say.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. Plus, he won in different ways with and without a great quarterback. I mean,
Right.
Belichick only won Super Bowls with a certain quarterback who will be broadcasting the game.
Yeah, not too pumped about that, but I guess it's fine.
You could always put the game on mute.
Yeah, it's Nickelodeon streaming this one.
I have no. It's on Tubi or one of those streaming
Yeah, I
channels.
saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, sooner or later, the Super Bowl will be on streaming.
yeah. Honestly, God, I hope not. Netflix will
Yeah,
probably pay some big bucks for that.
I'm gonna be fighting my next door neighbor for Netflix.
Yeah, but yeah, it should
All
definitely.
right, Alex. So thanks for hopping on. Trying and failing to stump me with trivia, as
Yeah,
always.
got a couple of them in there, but there was some where I was shocked you were able to pull that answer up. So you definitely you did good work there, Dylan. Thanks for having me as always. I can't wait to watch this game on Sunday. It's going to be a really good one. It's hard for me to. I mean, I do think I have to agree with you from what you said at the beginning. I think the Chiefs are gonna take it. My gut says the Chiefs are gonna win it. I'm never gonna be betting against Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl until it proves me wrong. But it should be a really good game. I think, the key to this game is if that Chiefs defensive line can stop Saquon, in my opinion. I mean, if they let him run for 150, it might be a little too much to handle. But if they can control him and keep him to a Saquon modest game, I think that's the best chance the Chiefs have to win. And on the flip, I think the best chance the Eagles have to win is to really control that game, control the clock, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, and rack up those Saquon Barkley rushing yards. But it should be a fun one to watch.
I think the most important Jalen in this game is not the quarterback; it's the defensive tackle.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right on with that one. The trenches are going to decide this football game. I mean, you look at the only Super Bowl that Mahomes lost to Brady. He was running.
And he was under duress the whole night.
Yeah, exactly. So, obviously we know what the Philadelphia offensive line has. We know the Chiefs defensive line is good, but it's going to be one of their toughest tests of the season. I mean, you can be a great defense, but when you have a guy like Saquon Barkley running up against you on the other side, it can make great defenses look not so great. So, it's definitely going to be an exciting matchup for sure, and can't wait to watch it.